Here we go, episode number 20 of my Lewis Hamilton career mode on F1 24 brings us to the Mexican Grand Prix. 5 rounds remain and we have a shot at winning both championships. Guys, spoiler warning ahead, previous episode in the top right, watch it now, 3, 2, 1. Anyway, we have a new rival, Fernando Alonso, and we are in a rivalry to reach level 93 first. You'll see confirmation in just a little bit. Anyway, here is the post-race fallout following on from the Circuit of the Americas. We had a very good weekend considering we had some trouble and some contact with Alonso in that race. He's now our rival. We had a decent weekend for specialist targets as well. But anyway, let's confirm that rivalry.
It seems as if you have a new rival. This is the perfect opportunity to show the world why you belong in this sport. And to show me why you belong amongst my very exclusive clientele. That's a joke. I love working with you.
So Leclerc has been replaced. Alonso and Verstappen, of course, continue to be our rivals. We're in the meantime going to purchase upgrades. Now, these are protection upgrades for next season's regulation change on the aerodynamics. Now, admittedly, we are not going to be dressed in Mercedes colours next year, but I want to make things, as hard as possible, be fair. We are professionals, so we're going to help Mercedes hopefully secure all upgrades before the season ends. And yeah, in the meantime, we're going to focus on specialists. So far, we're working on the top speed goals, as those are pretty easy to achieve. We then go to quality assurance, and we're going to go for incur no more than 2 penalties during an entire race weekend. That also should be pretty easy to do. And then we go to the last one, the strategy analyst, which is going to be, again, the easiest of the 4, and it's going to be complete a driven lap in 3 different sessions. I feel like the goals for this one are always the easiest. Anyway, with the specialist done and the upgrades protected, rivalries locked in stone, we can now jump into the weekend's action. Now, I was not given a weather forecast in the message tab, so we have this to kind of go off, and we seem to have rain in qualifying and the race, so a mixed weekend, and we're going to get some mixed conditions throughout the entirety of it, so that should be pretty fun. We look at the performance graph, and Ferrari, our future team, I said in the last episode I was worried how they were starting to drop back and lose ground. They have brought a raft of upgrades, a huge package here to Mexico, closing the gap. Aston Martin have overtaken us, and we are third ahead of Red Bull. Now, in the championships, this is what matters. We have almost a 40-point lead over Max Verstappen with 5 races remaining. In the constructors, we are 62 points clear of Red Bull. So again, still plenty of races and points to be decided. We still have 2 more sprint races in, I believe, Brazil and Qatar to be also decided. But generally, we are closer than ever, and we have the biggest lead we've had all season in the Drivers' Championship. We're peaking at the right time. So,
okay, test complete, and that was a really good job indeed. We got a lot of valuable information out of that. Well done.
We did our race runs, a lot of rear tyre wear. You can see I actually started off okay, and then I kind of lost my way a little bit midway through the run, and then laps 3, 4, 5 were actually quite high on tyre deg. Pace-wise, we gradually, on average, got faster, but we had a bit of a mistake on lap 3. Generally, though, tyre wear is really high here, so that's something we need to watch out for, and also maybe just drive in the race with a bit more tyre management in mind. Ultimately, rear tyres are what suffer around this track. So anyway, we finished practice, we scored maximum points as always, and we also pick up a little bit more experience getting closer to maxing out that level 99. And yeah, generally a smooth weekend so far, but we're now going to jump into qualifying.
This is a special place to go motor racing. We have the Fora Sol. The track is warming up nicely, and it is nearly time to set the grid for tomorrow's Grand Prix. What an atmosphere we have in Mexico City.
It's absolutely chucking it down at Mexico. Full wet tyres, heavy rain conditions.
Okay, heavy rain will be staying with us for a while now. At least a 20-minute window of heavy rain. Full wet seemed like the best tyre for now.
Now we are going to see lap times constantly flooding in. The track should hopefully be getting a bit quicker. We don't know how the weather's going to evolve. On the monitor it says constant rain all session, so I'm kind of basing it off the radio, which usually is more accurate. So across the line we set a 1:27.4, matching Max Verstappen, who's currently P1 on our first lap. Now as I always do in the wet conditions, the track tends to get a bit better, but also you get more comfortable and you find the limits more. So we're going to go for quite a few laps, I think 3 time laps in this one, as Alonso now goes quickest in the 126s. And you can see we are now purple in the middle sector. I lost a little bit through the baseball stadium. Didn't really maximise that final part of the lap. We're going to cross the line and we're going to go P3 behind Alonso and Russell with a 27.0. Piastri now 26.8, moving the needle again as we now go towards the end of our last lap on this run. You can see we do find a bit of time there through the 4-5 chicane and even now into the 5-6 hairpin, just finding a bit more time here and getting a bit quicker. Also cars boxing, so we're getting more on-track space, and we had a very good middle sector. You can see now 4 tenths up as we make our way through the final few corners. Hulkenberg ahead of us, but he won't be an issue as he peels off into the pits. 26.8 is the quickest time so far. We are going to smash it out the park with a 26.5 and go quickest of everyone. So we're going to bring the car back into the pits. Very low tyre wear in the wet, and you can see we have a very good margin, a good buffer in terms of our pace in this session. Now, first sector highlights, we may have a bit more wing than everybody else, but still, with a minute to go, I went out because everybody else went out, and it seemed to me there was a bit more of a dry line forming. So I wanted to be on track just in case. Now what I'm doing here, I'm waiting to let these 3 cars by because they're currently on timed laps. We've got enough of a buffer, so basically we can let them finish. And if they go quicker, as Zhou goes P2, that tells us, and now Magnussen P3, the track is quicker. Sainz 25.7, that's 1 second quicker than Piastri. So the track's getting faster, so we have to do this lap. So we cross the line with a couple of seconds left on the clock, and we're going to see how things progress. Now, by the end of the lap, we dropped to 15th, and we're literally on the bubble, on the cusp of elimination, but everybody has finished their laps. Either way, I'm not going to take a chance or risk, even though I'm 15th, you never know what might happen with the AI. So even though they've all finished their lap times, I'm going to finish mine, which is a marginal improvement. I didn't really push too much, and we find 4 tenths. So yeah, job done. Q1 done. That does give us a couple of extra positions and we finish in 12th place. So Q1 finished and we survive a bit of a late scare, but luckily we were on track to react to the weather conditions and everybody improving their times. And yeah, the usual suspects into Q2. McLaren 1-2 as well, kind of highlighting their pace. They've been so fast, for the last couple of races. As now in Q2, we are in intermediates. Alonso goes quickest into the 122s. I think a 22.8, I believe he set, or 22.6. Didn't quite catch it. Either way, we're purple in the middle sector. And a bit like in Q1, it feels like the track is getting better all the time. And we're gradually heading towards dry conditions. So, closing out the lap, 9 minutes on the clock. We're going to set our first time in Q2. And it's a 120 flat, which is massively quicker than everybody else. And the track did actually dry up at the end of Q2. There was no rain barely noticeable, but only 2 cars went out, Albon and Russell, and they didn't improve. Russell is out, which is a big moment for the Constructors' Championship. Now, in Q3, the rain had completely gone, and we had a damp track. So I basically waited until the end of the session, rather than waste intermediates, because we do have possible rain in the race. We're going to basically wait and get a single lap on dryers at the end. Everybody else is starting their laps. We're going to start ours now. We're going to get the best track conditions for the lap. So let's get into it and let's see how it goes.
30 seconds left in the session.
And there we go, qualifying done. A couple of small errors, microscopic. Turn 1 was probably the biggest issue of the bunch. We miss out on pole. P3, Verstappen though is on pole, our championship rival, and then the man in form, our new rival, Fernando Alonso, is P2. So it's red hot, and it's going to be a spicy race start with that long run down to turn 1. Either way, guys, qualifying, finished, all wrapped up. We're now going to jump into the race.
In the 60s, Mexico City would be the season-ending race. That's no longer the case, but it is always a party in these parts. Welcome to the Mexico City Grand Prix. 2,285 meters above sea level, the altitude will test the driver's fitness and their engine's efficiency. 17 corners, 7 to the left, 10 to the right, that make up a 2.6-mile circuit equipped with 2 DRS zones. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and Fernando Alonso completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Hamilton, Leclerc, Sainz, Oscar Piastri, Norris, Stroll, Ocon, Perez, Gasly, Tsunoda, Russell, Ricciardo, Albon, Hülkenberg, Joe, Sargent, Magnussen, and Valtteri Bottas begins the race from the back of the grid. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. Welcome to the commentary box. I'm Alex Jakes. Alongside me is Anthony Davidson. Well, it's all about forgetting last time because that was a bit of a shocker. How did they change the story today?
You've got to put it behind you. Whatever happened last time, I was always told as a driver, park it, forget about it. Obviously, feel the pain when it happens, but then you can't dwell on it and carry that through to the next race. So put it behind you and just crack on with this race coming your way now.
Here we go then. Verstappen on pole in Mexico. Alonso P2, our new rival. We are P3, and to be fair, it's not a bad place to be because the run to turn 1 is very long. We'll see how things go. Our race starts haven't been too bad lately. They've been fairly consistent, but we did massively struggle in the last episode in Kota, in the dry and the wet, which was a bit of a weird one, a bit of an exception because other tracks have been fine. So I don't know what to expect. Either way, a race start that's good is going to be key because if not, we're going to get overtaken by a lot of cars. Now, strategy is pretty straightforward. Now, the one thing to note is rain. We mentioned before there could be rain in the race, and we do have rain in the race, but only one icon of light rain just before the end. So I'm going to treat this as a regular dry race, and dare I say that might not even be enough rain for inters. But let's see what happens. Anyway, fuel, 0.3 of a lap, a standard fuel. Let's get into it, and let's try and win this race, and hopefully take a huge step towards the title. So everyone seems to be on mediums. No strange strategies going on. We've got decent tyre temp, so let's get into it and let's hopefully get a good launch. Big race in the championship, absolutely huge. Let's go racing. Revs on, lights on, race on. Good start. Alonso gets a pole one, Sainz gets an absolute rocket ship start. Battery on. Going to try and challenge here. Verstappen covers the inside. No idea where to brake. Oh, we've got floor damage. Okay. Oh my god.
Okay, we think the underbody's incurred some slight damage, but nothing too serious at the moment. Just be careful.
Disaster. Absolute disaster. Floor damage, front right end plate damage. Verstappen contact. I tried to be cautious, I just had nowhere to go. Right, we need to nurse this back to the pits.
Okay, we can take you this lap.
Verstappen battling with Leclerc. Doesn't feel too bad through the left-handers, but the right-handers it really hurts. We'll go for hard tyres. And make sure we get our wing changed as well. We might be able to take these hards into the wet conditions, but we're going to have to take an early stop here for the second race in a row. Damage. Unbelievable. That's what happens when you don't start on pole, which is what we've been doing all season long, basically. If you don't qualify on pole, you're in trouble. You're in the cesspit, you're in the mud, and you've got to try and get out, and it can be difficult. I thought I'd done fine. I really think I did nothing wrong there at all. I thought Max came back on track a little aggressive, to be honest. But I'll have to watch it back. Can't really tell in the heat at the moment. Either way, it's not over yet. As we saw in Kota, the AI will be slow. There's a big train break on the minimap.
Up to speed now, let's get some heat into those tyres.
It's being led by McLaren, but something must have happened there through turn 1, 2, 3, because they've lost a lot of time for the leading group. Anyway, clean air, not the worst thing in the world.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
I'll be now on my own, just basically trying to focus here and set some lap times. We'll leave the car in hot lap and just see how it feels. Anyway, let's get to work. Right, let's not do that. Let's take it easy on track limits. It's a long race. First warning, 1:15.5 from Leclerc. That gives us a bit of a reference to aim for. 1:16.2. Let's stick with it, we'll get faster as the laps go on. Oh, yellow flag.
Caution, caution.
When you show out the race, Verstappen now setting the pace, 1:15.4. I think Verstappen can smell blood. He's pulling that train of cars along. He's catching Leclerc for the race lead. That's our pace, 16.0. Probably a high 15, but we are slower than the medium tyres right now. Okay, there we go, that's a bit more like it. Purple middle, 15.7. Let's keep getting faster.
Okay, Lewis, we've got some clear track in front of us, and let's make the best of it. So please make this next one a very fast lap.
We'll do that this lap. I'm just looking at the mini-map. Verstappen's broken away in P2. I believe it's Sainz who's leading, not Leclerc, so Verstappen's going to go hunting.
Great stuff, mate. You hit the target well there. Nice one. There's a long way to go in this race, though, so keep your head down.
Back in the 16s on that lap. Not great. Fuel's a little bit marginal. I've been saving for the last 2 laps. Still keeping the pace, so I found a way to make it work. But we are burning off quite quickly, so I'm having to run higher gears and a bit lift and coast, but we're still running in the high 15s, so I'm keeping the pace consistent. So we've caught up to Sargent, just knocking the car down to none. Going to use it as a chance to recharge through here. Finally though, reaching some traffic just before the pit window, so cars start to box. Right then, let's get this. We'll get a nice little DRS overtake for good measure. And we are no longer last. Big train of cars ahead. Let's get after it. Just trying to wonder what options we have on the table. If I had another set of hard tyres, which I don't, I'd box right now, because we could undercut all of these cars and basically, you know, regain that freshness on the tyre. But we can't do that. So at the minute, I'm just wondering, you know, if we can stretch this straight to the rain, which is going to be, which was always my intention, you know, in the first place. We'll see. Anyway, Bottas, next up, first of the cars in this train. Let's try and pass him. There we go. We'll just outbrake him now. On the outside, which gives us the inside line through here. That's another move done. I don't think we're going to be able to challenge.
Let's try and climb up the order. I'm setting you a new target. Push, push.
Maybe we can go around the outside of Hulkenberg here. That was a bit rough. Barging my way through there, but you know what? We'll take it.
The underbody's taken a little damage. Just watch out for it.
Yeah, we know about that. But luckily no wing damage, so we got lucky there. Look at the difference in speed through the S section. We're so much quicker. We might have a little look into the baseball stadium here, into the hairpin on Magnussen. Up the inside. No hesitation. Got to cut through these moves nice and quick. Albon, Ricciardo next. Let's see if we can try and challenge.
So we're expecting rain in about 10 to 15 minutes.
So there's the official update. We've run out of battery here, so hopefully I've got enough to challenge Albon. Around the outside we go, leaving room on the apex. And we go through. Oh, big snap. That's going to cost us on Ricciardo. Also Russell P12. Very conservative race from George.
Yeah, really good job on hitting that target, mate. Nice work. Still a long way to go, though.
That was absolutely horrific, but we're through. Car's boxing. Russell stays out. We'll try and challenge George on the second straight down towards turn 4. He's flashing right now, but we're not going to close in enough. We'll try and pass him out of here. Stay nice and close. Just like that. Now we'll go for it. Don't make this complicated, George. That's a clear move up the inside. I'm not going to go for the lunge. I'd rather get DRS for the next 2 straights. I think there's more time benefit. So we'll just sit behind and let Gasly pit along with all the remaining cars. And now we can reap the benefits of DRS.
Okay, George is coming in for his stop.
Right, so that was Carlos Sainz at pit exit. Verstappen has undercut Sainz. He's freed himself from Piastri and Leclerc and has massively cut the gap to Carlos. So Verstappen right now is a genuine threat. We're back in P1, but our tyres, it's even worse than Kota. We've got a 25% wear handicap. So yeah, we kind of need this rain to arrive now. Verstappen's flying, he's within Sainz's DRS now, so Max with a shot at P2, and then he'll be having a shot at us directly. And there we go, Verstappen through. DRS overtake, and he'll have DRS on this straight as well, so he's going to rapidly close up to us on this lap. Max is having a look. Around the outside. He's going to have the inside into the hairpin. And now Sainz getting involved. Luckily, I think we might get a DRS here. Oh my god, the traction. Verstappen just drove off. We'll have DRS. So we can fight this back. Verstappen moves over. Sainz follows. And Max goes from P1 to P3 in an instant. Well, this time we're going to be a sitting duck, but we've brought Piastri and Leclerc into this fight, which is kind of what I want, really, so that Max has multiple rivals. I've got no real battery to fight this, so we're just going to have to accept they're both going to go through here. Verstappen makes it 3 wide, and 3 goes. Piastri on the inside, and it's all kicking off now. I'm going to back out of that. Verstappen, Sainz still going for it. Just got to try and hang on here. Perez is 5 seconds down the road.
Okay, dries seem like the best tyre for now.
I was going to say, we've not had a weather update, so any rain now would be a good time. Leclerc's onto us. We'll have DRS, but we've got no battery to fight with. So Leclerc goes through. Verstappen overtakes Sainz for P1. Let's see how this all pans out. Let's see if that rain starts to fall. We're out of DRS. Out of range. This ain't easy. I'm feeling it on tyres now. A little bit on the rear. Just don't have any traction.
Okay, Lewis. Any more front wing damage and it's going to really cost us. So please, let's protect it and bring the car home.
Noted. I don't think that forecast prediction is right. It's not arriving. The rain. It's not coming down. And it seems still very bright.
Dries definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
Well, I hope it arrives soon. If we've got to go to the end of these tyres, we're going to be in trouble because we're not going to go forward. We're only going backward. I'm kind of needing an intermediate tyre change to get me back in this race now. We've got ourselves into the, to the top 10, but I need a weather change, tyre change to fight this. Alonso will go through here. I'm not really going to fight this one. We'll get DRS in the next straight, and that should keep us in check. Possibly even allow us to re-overtake if I can get a good enough exit.
Okay, be careful. We think you're going to start losing some tyre grip anytime now.
Great timing on that radio message. Won't lie. Anyway, DRS, battery. Let's get back through. So back in P5 for now. I understand I've got the setting to approximate, but they're just not accurate. It was meant to be fully wet in qualifying, it ended up drying out all the way, and now we should have had rain like ages ago, and we're still not getting it. Alonso will go through here with DRS. Perez, to be fair, will also go through. I'll try and fight with battery, what I've got left in the tank. 3 wide. Nope. Norris having a look, and still there, so I've got to leave room. Don't want any more wing damage. Sick and tired of having wing damage. So P8 now. We lose 3 places in a straight and a corner. Now it's probably getting a bit dark. Finally the sun's like properly gone. Oh my god. Well, that's engine gone. Now that is a big one for the championship. We did not need that, because that automatically means we're going to take a grid drop in the next race. In Brazil, in a sprint. We've seen that before somewhere in the past. That's devastating. That's a big blow. Huge blow. The question is, who's going to win the race?
I'm so sorry, guys.
Out of the final corner for the final time, Max Verstappen takes the win.
I mean, it looked like they were in a different category at points during the race, led every lap. I mean, what more can we say?
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. There's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves.
That's an absolute disaster. Absolute disaster. The worst possible scenario. Verstappen wins the race, and not just that, Russell only gets P9, Perez gets P7. So Red Bull just generally outscore us in both championships. 25 points to Verstappen, a clean 25 sweep for him this weekend. And yeah, that's a big way to bounce back for him after the last race and the one before that, making a few mistakes. And you could argue that turn 1 incident, you know, was his fault as well. I need to watch it back, so I'm not going to say too much, but that is a hammer blow in the World Drivers' Championship and in the World Constructors' Championship. So Verstappen, Sainz, Piastri, Leclerc, Alonso, Norris, Perez, Stroll, Russell, and Tsunoda scores the final point. And then confirmation at the bottom, we retire along with Zhou Guan Yu. So standings, 4 races remain. Verstappen now 13 points behind, so it's game on again, I guess. I mean, it's never ending, it really isn't. We were so close to winning the rivalry, and now we're not. So, yeah, that's a bit of a blow. In the Constructors, Red Bull cut the gap to 33 points. So we've still got some margin, but that was a big chunk taken out of our lead. So we can't rest. Brazil's next, we go again. Sprint weekend, so essentially double points up for grabs. And we are going to be starting from the back of the grid with an engine change, because we don't have enough components, I don't think. I mean, I'll double check to see what we lost, but likely that might mean a grid drop. So yeah, this is going to be tough. If it isn't the next race, the grid drop, it'll be down the line, because I don't think we have anything fresh to last the rest of the season. So yeah guys, that's going to be it from this video. On screen now you're going to have the post-race fallout as always. We'll likely lose a few online driver stats, but also gain some others. So I think our rating won't change massively. In the rivalry with Alonso, of course, we lose out. First race against him. And then, of course, the Verstappen, the rivalry gets closer as well. Recognition, not really much of an issue for us versus George. We're leaving the team soon. And then, of course, our specialist targets, I believe we hit all of them. So, yeah, that's good. Anyway, guys, cheers for watching. Like and subscribe. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We tried to fight back, and I don't even think the rain ever arrived, to be fair. So the forecast was just a bit wrong. So, yeah, cheers for watching. Shout out to the members for supporting the channel. Check out the videos on screen, the links down below. And yeah, I'll see you guys in Brazil. Take care, and it's goodbye from me.